This is Joshua Doby, president of North Main Financial Group. At North Main Financial Group, we move to where you need us: investment management, insurance planning, and estate strategies. No two people are the same, so we customize our planning based upon your needs. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
Local leaders, top stories, the news that matters most to you. The News Drive at 5 with host Patrick Reynolds starts now.
Welcome to the News Drive at 5 for this Friday, January the 26th, 2024. Patrick Reynolds along for the ride home with you at 5:06 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome to the News Drive at 5. Happy to see and hear all of you. You just heard Health Talk with Fred Lowry, who, if you want to talk community supporters and advertisers here at WSIC Radio and the local community, Iredell County, and particularly Statesville, Fred Lowry is at the top of the list. I think he's been around the WSIC News family for as long as anybody else has. But thank you, Fred Lowry. Thank you for Lowry Drug for your partnership with WSIC Radio. And first up on the News Drive at 5, I believe, is our first traffic report of the hour. Yolanda, do we have you on the line with us?
Yes, you do.
Good afternoon, my dear, from iCats. Yolanda is with us. How are things looking out on the roads?
Everything is looking really good tonight, surprisingly. It's Friday. It's a beautiful day outside. I guess some people left early for work to catch some of these sun rays after so many days of rain. But everything is looking good. We got a little build up over there by the exit for 485, inner and outer. But other than that, there's nothing. No blockages, no nothing.
Would you say that maybe people just took the day off in general? You think we had some sick calls today, and that's helping our case right now?
Right, and get a little bit of cabin fever from all this rain we've gotten.
Yeah, we've had rain, we've had cold weather, and we had a nice day today. So that's great news. Where are you in our listening area right now? Where are you located?
I am right now at 4th and College, getting ready to go back uptown, heading back your way.
Well, all right then. Safe travels to you, and have a great weekend, and thank you for the update.
No problem. You as well. Enjoy.
Thank you. Have a great night. Yolanda from iCats, everybody, checking in here on the News Drive at 5. Look so far right now at 5:08. We've got clear sailing on the roads. As we talked, maybe some people just took today off. Around the studio here in Statesville, around Mooresville, Cornelius, it has just been a beautiful day, but we're tucking it in between a couple of weather fronts, and we're going to get to that a little bit later. Bear with me. I'm going to preview that shortly. Let's let you know our ticket giveaway will also continue this afternoon and this evening. I've told up to the video feed right now on the social medias. That's today's winning 4-pack of tickets to the home shows that we are giving the prizes away from. First off, this weekend, going on right now, the Home and Landscape Show, Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show, January 26th, 27th, and 28th. It began today at the Cabarrus Arena in Concord, runs through Sunday. We've got 2 tickets right there, as you see on the camera, to our winners. And the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, coming up at the Park Expo and Conference Center in Charlotte, February 23rd, 24th, 25th. I've got the winning 4-pack right here for you. 2 tickets to each show at 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. One more time, 844-788-3464. We're going to be giving those tickets away around 5:45 p.m. tonight, so about 35 minutes from now. Your phone call will get you those winning tickets. Winning 4-pack. Your top 5 at 5 tonight. Top 5 top 5 stories that we are tracking tonight on the News Drive at 5. A suspect has been arrested in the theft of a visiting area film crew's gear. A Lincolnton man was killed in a single-car crash. DWI charges face a man who hit a school bus in Huntersville. Davidson reviews their police communication procedures following an arrest. Those are your top 5 at 5. And joining us is meteorologist Chase Meyers from the Carolina Weather Group. We're going to talk weather today as we are up in the low 70s, as we alluded to earlier, here around Lake Norman and North Charlotte. And just a week ago, we were in the teens and barely out of the 20s. It was tough to go outside. We're going to be joined by Chase Meyers later on at the News Drive at 5. We're going to ask him what the heck is going on, and hopefully he can put that in layman's terms so the weather gurus can explain it, where a guy like me can understand. The top 5 stories this afternoon on the News Drive at 5. Our top story tonight, right here in Statesville, where our studio is located. Statesville police investigators and employees of nearby businesses helped save the day, actually, after members of an out-of-town film crew reported that someone stole their luggage and equipment. The Statesville Police Department received a call for assistance at the Courtyard Marriott on Cinema Drive regarding a larceny. The film crew was in town working on the home reveal for Military Makeover with Montel, a show that was a collaborative effort with Statesville-based Purple Heart Homes, a nonprofit that provides housing solutions for aging and disabled veterans. After arriving at the scene, Statesville Police Department investigators met with members of the production crew who were preparing to leave the hotel. The crew reported that their equipment and luggage had been left unattended at the hotel's parking lot for a brief period of time. When they returned to the vehicle, they discovered that their equipment and personal belongings had been stolen. Working with nearby businesses, investigators identified and located a suspect vehicle, a green 2001 Nissan Altima. Through their investigation, the investigators identified the subject as James Clifford Collins Jr., age 45, of Branchwood Road in Statesville. Collins was arrested and charged with felony larceny and possession of stolen property. A magistrate set his bond at $5,000. Investigators recovered all of the property belonging to the production crew. The Statesville Police Department expressed its appreciation to North Carolina Probation and Parole and the Iredell County Sheriff's Office for their assistance throughout the investigation. Now, the Military Makeover with Montel drew news headlines here on the News Drive at 5, as well as WSIC News Talk. Military Makeover was covered by Purple Heart Homes, as they have a show here every week on WSIC News Talk. And if I could briefly bring in my producer, Joe, to the conversation right now. Purple Heart Homes, putting the pieces back together, show schedule. Do you remember when that airs here on WSIC?
Well, it's not quite pinned down just yet. They're waiting for a few more details about when the Statesville family will be shown on the TV show they have.
Okay.
And then they will decide exactly when and how those episodes will air. But it's special episodes coming out.
Yeah, the Military Makeover. A little bit to ask you about here. Putting the pieces back together. Weekly show here on WSIC.
Yes, sir.
When is that on the calendar?
Thursdays at 3 o'clock.
Thursdays at 3 o'clock. Okay, so Thursdays at 3, Purple Heart Homes. Brad Borders, part of that, as well as their coverage of this. And we had a special guest in studio for here over the weekend.
Might have.
Okay. Don't want to give away too much there. Want to talk about that a little bit. If we have time later in the show, let's circle back to Military Makeover with Purple Heart Homes. Big deal here in Statesville. You are listening to the News Drive at 5. I am Patrick Reynolds. We're up against our first break. We'll talk to you right after this.
The News Drive at 5 will be back shortly on 105.9, 100.7 WS.
Let's say hi.
Let's say hi.
Let's say hi. There he is.
Chase, hello.
Morning, guys. Afternoon, guys.
Afternoon, whatever. We don't know what it is anymore either, man.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
Now, what day is it? Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. Yeah. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon. We're just hopped into a commercial break here. Obviously, we want to talk about why a week ago we were like in the teens and now we're in the 70s. So we thought, hey, we know a guy that can shed some light on this.
I can shed some light on that.
Okay, cool. Very good. Yeah, we're just chilling in a commercial. We got a couple minutes, and we'll be with you real shortly, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Sounds good, guys.
How you doing? How's things? How's the world?
I'm doing great. Hope you guys have had a good week so far.
Well, something actually we wanted to talk to you about. It was like people's attitudes, like depression and tiredness and things like that. Sure. If that was, I've heard people related to the weather, and I'd like to bring that up with you. Is that like wives' tale, or is that real thing that you know about?
Yeah, there's some truth there. Yeah, there's some truth to that. We can chat about that.
Okay, yeah. No, I'd like to talk about the weather patterns, the cold, the heat, the rain, what we got coming up, and then, actually ask you about that a little bit. About
1 minute, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Sounds good.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, Chase is going to actually talk to us about the, like I talked about, sadness, depression, people's attitudes, retired. Like, what's going on? I was like, I think it is part of the weather. I was like, I just can't explain it.
Like I said, this week, I've been exhausted all week.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, like, just, like, again, like I said, like, from the layman, I'm like, weather got something to do with that?
Probably.
Chase is going to tell us.
I feel like we're about to find out.
We're going to find out. Don't tell us yet, man. Save it for the show, not the commercial.
All right, Chase, I'm going to throw you back on hold. We got about a little over a minute before we're back.
Thanks, man.
Word. Yeah.
Band, horn and woodwind sections included. Chi-Town Transit Authority, Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. KaneArts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Happening now at Randy Marion Ford in Statesville.
That's right, folks. We have flipped the calendar. 2024 is here. Happy New Year from Randy Marion Ford Lincoln. Come see us this year for all your car needs, whether it's a new Ford, a new Lincoln, quality pre-owned. Randy Marion Ford in Statesville, we have got you covered. I-77 exit 49B. Look for the spinning car, folks, because that is where the deals are.
RandyMarionFord.com. It's the News Drive at 5 with Patrick Reynolds on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back to the News Drive at 5 for Friday, January 26, 2024. 5:18 p.m. on the East Coast. Patrick Reynolds taking you home, and this weather has certainly got us talking in the studio as well as about everybody I know. How we were in the teens and 20s about a week ago, got some rain, and we're up here in the 70s now. What the heck is going on? Well, we've got some answers coming up for you. From the Carolina Weathers Group, meteorologist Chase Meyers joins us. How are you tonight, Chase?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
We're doing well up here. We're got our shorts on, got the T-shirts on. A week ago, we had the long johns on. Brother, what's going on? Help us out here.
I know it's a nice spring we're having this winter, huh?
It's a phony spring. This is...
Yeah. It's fall, spring. I tell you what, I saw people at the golf course. I saw people. I mean, it's kind of wild. And actually, you know, if you look back at it, there are some cities, some towns around the area who have had some records the last couple of mornings. And what I mean by that is, you know, record low temperatures that haven't been hit before, or maybe tying record low temperatures. I mean, we started every morning, you know, the last two at least, in the low to mid 60s. And just for perspective here, our average high temperature right now is 50. So we've been a long ways away from that in all regards. You know, low temperature in the morning, high temperature in the afternoon. And so, I mean, it's just been really a warm stretch, and it comes fast, too. I mean, you know, we talked about a week ago, like you said, we were in the teens and 20s, and wind chills in the single digits.
We remember, and not pleasantly. We much prefer what's going on now. I remember with this rain talk that we had, the wet weather. We had wet weather systems coming in and out last several weeks, and we were talking about El Nino and how that was kept churning the weather and bringing us the rain. Is that affecting the temperatures, or are those two separate entities that we're facing right now?
So the temperatures and the moisture thing can be tied to El Nino in their own kind of perspective, in their own respective way. Typically in an El Nino year, we do have a wetter than normal pattern, but it doesn't always mean that it's going to be colder than normal. Clearly, sometimes that wetter pattern can come with a warmer pattern at times, because a lot of times those systems in an El Nino are tracking across the south, and anything that comes from the south typically is going to bring us warmer air. This time around, what you essentially have is an area of high pressure that essentially, yes, brought us some cold air, now has moved across the area into our east. So when high pressure sits offshore like it does over the island of Bermuda and out across the Bahamas, you get a south or southwesterly wind. So, typically you think about the Gulf of Mexico, you think about Florida, you think about closer to the equator, that's going to be a warmer wind direction 9 times out of 10. So not only does it bring in the warm air, it brings in the moisture too. So even if it's not raining, this afternoon's been dry. If you step outside, it's not only warm, it's kind of humid too. So you have all of that moisture coming in from the south. And yeah, you can be a little warmer than normal in an El Nino. You don't get as many Arctic outbreaks. I mean, you say, yeah, we were in the teens anyway last week. That's fine. But, typically in the pattern like this, when that high sits offshore, this is like a typical springtime or summer kind of setup. You have a high offshore and systems out to the west, and you're kind of sandwiched in the middle. And the faster you bring in that warmer air, the quicker you warm up. This will be the last day of that spring-like warmth, though. And then we go into next week, and we're back to pretty typical stuff for January. We start to see, mornings in the upper 20s and low 30s, and then our high temperature will be around 50. So it does correct itself. If there's something usually out of whack when it shouldn't be, if it's one way when it shouldn't be, typically the atmosphere is going to correct itself. It's always about balance in the atmosphere.
Is that what we're seeing right now? We had this cold last week below normal. We've got this warm this week above normal, kind of like a pendulum. We went one way, then when we swung the other way, and next week we should land back in the middle, kind of like Mother Nature balancing itself out.
It is, and really that's honestly the whole, if you really boil it down to the simplicity, that's the whole reason that you have weather, is that the atmosphere is always trying to balance itself out. Now, if this was March, then we could, easily be talking about a strong thunderstorm chance the next couple of afternoons. We just don't have all the dynamics that a spring would normally bring with fast wind and with instability this time around. But in the springtime, when you get a stuff like this, typically that can mean storm. That can mean, a stormy pattern.
So we had wet weather the past few days. Today, Friday, kind of nice out. Saw some peaks of sunshine filtered with some clouds. It was great. Yeah. We're looking at wet weather tomorrow. Is this just a hole today, like in the front, or are we facing two different fronts that are coming through the area? What's up with the rain?
Yeah, we're kind of stuck in between two systems. It's been a sort of a gloomy week. That's just because we've had several different systems sort of tracking our way. Today we were kind of in between two. So while you may have had a shower this morning, now as we go into your Saturday, the afternoon, the second system is just a little bit behind what happened yesterday. So yesterday was a wet day. We're in the middle today. But then the second system, final system, really for a while, comes by tomorrow, and that's going to be a soggy one. Then we're pretty dry going into next week, and that'll be good. We need to dry up some of this stuff.
Sure. Dry weather and temperatures returning to normal. I'm looking typically, to my world, overnights, 20s, 30s, highs in the 50s. That should be okay for first week of February?
Yeah, that's pretty good for February.
Okay. Something we were talking about a little bit off air, as well as producer Joe and about everybody I know this week, is there's some people suffering from a little bit of melancholy, tired, depression, sadness, and they're attributing it to the weather. You being a meteorologist, can you shed any light on this? Is that old wives' tales, or is that legit truth that the weather like this, some gloomy days like this, can really affect people's mood and attitude?
Oh yeah, it's now I'm not going to claim to be a psychologist. I'm nowhere close to that. But yeah, there's some truth to sort of your seasonal depression kind of thing. And I mean, now let's just face it. Let's boil it down to not science at all, and let's just talk about, man, you know, when it's cloudy and when it's raining all the time, I can't really get out and do a whole lot, and it's a mess. So that kind of keeps people indoors and kind of keep people from getting out and about, and of course that can lead to, you know, folks being sad or being down or depressed. Again, but seasonal depression is kind of a real thing. It's also winter, and not a lot happens in winter and even January. It's just kind of that you start the new year, everybody's out of money, nobody's going anywhere kind of thing. So you add that into the mix to a really gray day or a gray weather pattern for a few days, and people just kind of get bummed out. Right, ready to see the sunshine.
I think that may be why the NFL does so well too. Is they've got their playoffs and their biggest game, the best part of the year, to be inside watching TV.
That's exactly right.
So we're looking at about 5:25, coming up on 5:26 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. People are heading home. What's our forecast for this weekend? Can people get out and about, or are they stuck inside for a little bit? What do we got for Saturday and Sunday?
I don't like to be the bearer of bad news.
We won't shoot the messenger. Don't worry.
That's right. Saturday is going to be wet. Saturday is going to be soggy.
Yeah.
Originally, we were thinking that Saturday could start dry. Now I think we're going to have some showers that kind of move in just after daybreak. So most of it will be light to start in the morning through midday, just sort of the scattered shower stuff. But that's once we get into the afternoon and head towards evening. If you have Saturday evening plans, you can bet on those being wet. Some of that rain can be heavy too. You know, a little further up north of Statesville, if you go up toward the foothills, you know, if you go toward Hickory and Morganton, those folks, they'll have a better chance of more heavy rain, and that may lead to some localized flash flooding. You know, the typical trouble spots first. There's going to be a lot of rain, and some of it, you know, coming down downpours or even, you know, almost sheets of rain, car wash rain, I like to call it. And that's a little more likely tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. So Saturday is going to be a good indoor day. Make some plans indoors. A shower could linger Sunday morning, but slowly we'll clear it out. We'll be a bit breezy on Sunday. And then once we get into Sunday night and really into early next week, the sun is back and we're kind of set up for several dry days.
Sounds like we are back to normal then. Chase, thank you so much for your insight and appreciate you spending a little bit of time with our WSIC News Talk audience. Always appreciate the updates and the conversation. You have a good night, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. Chase Meyers, everybody, from the Carolina Weather Group. You'll hear his voice regularly here on WSIC News Talk Radio, giving weather updates, and it's great to have him join the show, give us a little insight when we've got some weather stories to talk about, which we certainly thought we did. I guess we do, as we dissect a little bit the cold air from last week, and here we are. Gosh, my producer literally wearing shorts into the studio today. We were all looking for hoodies and long johns. But you heard him. Saturday, lots of rain. So what are you going to do on a Saturday? Boy, do we have the fix for you guys. We've been giving away these tickets all week. What a great rainy day to visit the Cabarrus Arena in Concord for the Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show. Starting today, continuing all weekend. You just talked to Chase Meyers. Oh my goodness, it's going to rain. You're going to be soggy. Great time to be inside. Go there. The Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show this weekend, Cabarrus Arena in Concord. Now, I don't know what the weather will be like in mid-February, late February, February 23rd, 4th, and 5th, but the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show at the Park Expo and Conference Center in Charlotte will be happening as well. So where am I going with all this? Regular listeners, you know we're giving away another 4-pack of tickets, 2 tickets to each show that I talked about. And my goodness, it's going to be a rainy Saturday anyway. You need these tickets, fellas. You need these tickets. We've got 2 tickets right here for you, 4 tickets total. And the winning number, 844-STUDIO-4, 844-788-3464. At 5:45, we will make sure we clear the phone lines. Then we'll open them back up for our winners to call in and claim. You're looking for a rainy day, something to do? Look no further. We've got you covered right here on WSIC News Talk. Home show tomorrow in the Cabarrus Arena in Concord. As always, if you'd ever want to talk about any one of our news stories or just chat about the day in general, 844-STUDIO-4 gets you right in here on air. We'd love to talk to you. We're covering the news headlines here on the News Drive at 5. We'll cover more of the news coming right back up after this.
We'll be back with more of the News Drive at 5 with Patrick Reynolds in just a moment on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, partly cloudy skies. We headed to our Friday evening, but the clouds build back in overnight. Temperatures dipping down into the mid-50s. For our Saturday, it's a soggy day on the way. Some scattered showers in the morning and then some heavy rain possible by the afternoon and the evening. Just make plans to stay indoors. You'll need the rain gear for Saturday. High temperatures are in the upper 50s to near 60. For Sunday, a shower could linger in the morning, but we're clearing it out for the afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Meyers.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
The Statesville Family YMCA reminds you that older adults and those with chronic health conditions don't need to feel they must accept impaired balance and limited mobility. Build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in your mobility through the Moving for Better Balance program. For questions and additional information, email C. Mullins at ymcanwnc.org.
Rev up your dreams with a bike from Tilly Harley-Davidson. Whether you're new to Harley or a seasoned pro, Tilly has the bike for you. Come experience the freedom of the ride. Feel the thrill of the road and the thunder that only a Harley can provide. Stop by Tilly Harley-Davidson of Statesville or go to tillyhd.com.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-869-8560. 800-869-8560. 800-869-8560. That's 800-869-8560.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-218-6440. 800-218-6440. 800.
Fern Hill Baptist Church is a traditional fundamental congregation located in Troutman. Hear them Sunday mornings at 8:15 here on WSIC. Listen on demand, WSICFM.com.
If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your health care costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your health care costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. That's 800-508-5774. 508.
The News Drive at 5 continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Here's your host, Patrick Reynolds.
News Drive at 5 continues on here. January the 26th. I'm a month ahead of myself. Friday, January 26, 2024, 5:35 p.m. on the East Coast. Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show coming up this weekend. Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show in February. 2 tickets to each show coming up to a lucky winner in about 10 minutes. Winning 4-pack at 844-STUDIO 4, 844-788-3464. One more time, 844-788-3464. Or if you'd just like to chat, come on, dial in. Back to the headlines tonight. A 37-year-old Lincolnton man was killed in a single-vehicle crash earlier this week. A 2003 Honda Element was traveling west on Hoover-Elmore Road in Lincoln County, drove off the right side of the road and hit a tree. The driver, Jesse Allen Adams, who was not wearing a seatbelt, died at the scene. There is no indication he was impaired or speeding, according to the initial investigation. In Huntersville, a man is facing several charges, including DWI, following a hit-and-run this week involving a Charlotte-Mecklenburg school bus. The accident happened on Mount Holly Huntersville Road near Westminster Drive. The CMS school bus had been traveling westbound when a green SUV crossed the center line and collided head-on with the left front corner of the school bus. The driver of the SUV, later identified as Brent Alexander, age 39, drove away from the scene of the accident. Huntersville officers were able to find Alexander about a quarter of a mile away as his SUV broke down from damages sustained in the accident. Alexander has been charged with driving while impaired, felony hit and run, carrying a concealed weapon, careless and reckless driving. Several students and Alexander sustained minor injuries in the crash. Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools confirmed 4 students were on bus number 914 heading to Barnett Elementary School. Parents took 2 students to the hospital to be checked out for their injuries. The other 2 students were taken to school on Tuesday by the principal. This crash remains under investigation by the Huntersville Police Department. In Davidson at this week's town board meeting, Mayor Pro Tem Autumn Michael read a statement regarding last weekend's manhunt that ended with a suspect captured in Davidson off East Rocky River Road. On behalf of the mayor and board of commissioners of the town of Davidson, we would be remiss if we did not mention a recent incident that took place within our community over the weekend, specifically in Iredell and Mecklenburg counties. From Saturday evening, January 20th, through Sunday morning, January 21st, 2024. The safety of our community is of the utmost importance and something we take very seriously. We recognize the activity was frightening for some residents. The board has requested a full briefing from town staff and the chief of police reviewing the incident in its entirety. We are calling for a review of the incident, including what went right and any opportunities for improvement. This includes, but is not limited to, a review of our processes and protocols to better understand the response times and communication with residents in emergency situations. We acknowledge the need to operate with transparency and will provide a public update when the appropriate information is available. Thank you so much. In addition to a statement read by Mayor Pro Tem Michael, a young resident of Narrow Passage spoke during the public comment period to address the same incident. Libby Slauson commended the Davidson Police Department and Iredell County Sheriff's Department for apprehending the suspect, but highlighted the lack of communication with residents in the area. She said, quote, "I believe the town's role is to make us feel safe. Davidson is one of the safest places in North Carolina. Still, when something like this arises, we need to keep citizens informed to increase their safety." A check of county property records reflects that the Slauson family lives on the street where the suspect was ultimately captured. Now, she and this story are referring to Corey Allen Leeser, who we reported here on the News Drive at 5, was arrested. That whole story is available on our on-demand podcast of the News Drive at 5. Head on over to the WSIC social media platforms, and the replays are all there. This has to do with his arrest in the communication between the police department, the manhunt, and the local citizens. How much information was out there for them, how well it was communicated, how fast, what their policies were, what their procedures were. I think that is what the residents and the town is asking for, is a review of how they handled it. The town has issued the following statement. It was sent out to residents who signed up to receive updates from the town. The Town of Davidson Police Department responded to a citizen report of a suspicious vehicle found on their property on Riker Way near Shearer Road in Mecklenburg County. The Davidson Police Department contacted local authorities in Iredell County after check of the vehicle's registration showed the owner having an active warrant for a probation violation, learning there was an active pursuit of the reported vehicle. The driver, now identified as Corey Allen Leeser, had been handcuffed with hands in front, assaulted an Iredell County deputy, then returned to his vehicle, fleeing the scene. Full report of this is on the archived edition of the News Drive at 5. In other news, in Iredell County, the Federal Trade Commission announced plans to file a lawsuit to block Novant Health Incorporated's purchase of Davis Regional Medical Center and Lake Norman Regional Medical Center, both from Community Health Systems. Novant Health and CHS announced an agreement for a $320 million sale in February of 2023. The Federal Trade Commission issued an administrative complaint and authorized a lawsuit in federal court to block the proposed acquisition, alleging that the deal threatens to raise prices and reduce incentives to invest in quality and innovative care that would benefit patients. Novant is one of the largest hospital systems in the southeastern United States, including North Carolina. Currently, Novant operates Huntersville Medical Center and serves more patients than any other hospital in the eastern Lake Norman area. It is also one of the most expensive hospital systems in North Carolina, according to the Federal Trade Commission. Under the proposed deal, Novant would acquire Lake Norman Regional Medical Center, which sits 11 miles away from Novant's Huntersville Medical Center. Additionally, Novant would acquire other related assets from CHS, including Davis Regional Medical Center, which is a behavioral health hospital. Also, a physician group of 24 physicians employed by Lake Norman Regional Medical Center, a majority interest in an endoscopy center in Mooresville, and an entity holding a North Carolina certificate of need to build an ambulatory surgery center in Mooresville. The FTC alleged that the proposed deal with CHS would allow Novant to control nearly 65% of the market for inpatient general acute care services in the eastern Lake Norman area, which primarily includes Iredell County, northern Mecklenburg County. Inpatient services, including a broad range of essential medical, surgical, and diagnostic services that require an overnight hospital stay, are included. Now, with less competition, Novant would be able to demand higher rates for its services. That's where the Federal Trade Commission alleged the proposed acquisition would likely increase annual healthcare costs by several $1 million. These higher costs would then be passed on to patients. The deal would also reduce Novant's incentive to compete to attract patients by improving its facilities, service offerings, and quality of care. The commission vote to issue the administrative complaint and authorize staff to seek a temporary restraining order and seek a preliminary injunction was 3-0. The federal court complaint and request for preliminary relief will be filed in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of North Carolina to halt the transaction pending an administrative proceeding. The issuance of the administrative complaint marks the beginning of a proceedings in which the allegations will be tried in a formal hearing before an administrative law judge. News Drive at 5 here on WSIC News Talk Radio rolls on. Patrick Reynolds taking you home. We've got more headlines after the break and our big ticket giveaway to the home shows. A 4-pack coming your way. We'll be right back.
Stick around for more of the News Drive at 5. Coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, partly cloudy skies. We headed to our Friday evening, but the clouds build back in overnight. Temperatures dipping down into the mid-50s. For our Saturday, it's a soggy day on the way. Some scattered showers in the morning and then some heavy rain possible by the afternoon and the evening. Just make plans to stay indoors. You'll need the rain gear for Saturday. High temperatures are in the upper 50s to near 60. For Sunday, a shower could linger in the morning, but we're clearing it out for the afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Meyers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Merlefest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College. Featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information can be found at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Want to attend the Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show? How about the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Greater Charlotte Home and Garden Show, February 23rd through the 25th. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, January 26th through the 28th. Mooresville's Parks and Recreation is excited to bring The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater to the Charles Mack Citizen Center, Saturday, February 10th. This is not your usual murder mystery experience. An evening of theater and mystery that will have you laughing and gasping. The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, Saturday, February 10th. For more info, visit ourtownstage.com. Chi-Town Transit Authority is coming to Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. Come hear the 8-piece Chicago tribute band, horn and woodwind sections included. Chi-Town Transit Authority, Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. KaneArts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I love your new outfit.
I got it at Diamond Mine Apparel and Accessories. They have a wonderful selection of ladies and men's apparel.
Where are they located?
920 Davie Avenue. Their hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Diamond Mine Apparel and Accessories.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC News Talk Now.
Call in now to speak with Patrick Reynolds on the News Drive at 5. The number to dial is 844-STUDIO-4. WSIC. Local starts here.
News Drive at 5 for Friday, January 26, 2024, 5:48 p.m. Eastern Time. Patrick Reynolds with you here. It is ticket giveaway time. 4-pack of tickets up for grabs right now. Call into the studio, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. One more time, 844-788-3464. You heard Chase Meyers earlier in the broadcast tell you how rainy it was going to be on your Saturday. Fellas, this is a great idea. I've got 2 tickets to the Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show this weekend. Head there tomorrow. Be inside all day. Cabarrus Arena in Concord. We've got a 4-pack of winning tickets right now. 844-788-3464. 844-STUDIO-4. Call in and you will be a winner for these tickets. Back to the News Drive at 5 and our headlines. In Iredell County, part of I-77 on the northern side of the county will be closed for several days after a pothole was found yesterday. According to Union Grove Fire and Rescue, I-77 South is down to one lane just before exit 59, which is the Tomlin Mill Road exit. Crews are working to repair the asphalt. North Carolina DOT closed the lane about 2:45 p.m. yesterday. They anticipate it to be back open by 10 a.m. on Monday. The fire department is asking for caution as you drive through the area. One more time, that's I-77 South, just before exit 59 that's the Tomlin Mill Road exit. In Davidson, in 2023, the North Carolina General Assembly approved a redistricting plan that will be in place for the election 2024. This includes the primary, which is on March the 5th, with early voting starting February the 15th. Now, not only in Davidson, but all around our listening area, check your voter status and area which you are to vote. In 2024, like 2020 and 2016, every 4 years is a much larger turnout for an election year. So double check as to where you should vote. This redistricting has affected a lot within our listening area. Give you some dates here to remember. January the 19th, the County Board of Elections begin mailing absentee ballots to eligible voters, which they began last week. We covered that here on the News Drive at 5. Coming up, February 9th is the voter registration deadline. February 15th, in-person early voting begins. February 27th, absentee ballot request deadline. March the 2nd, in-person early voting ends. March the 5th is primary election day. Also March the 5th, absentee ballot return deadline. If you missed any of those dates, go to your town's website. They should, I'll emphasize the word should, have that information available to you. In Cornelius, the first of 3 proposed projects introduced at a December meeting for the town's pre-development review committee was presented to the mayor and town board at the first commissioners meeting of the new year. The owners of Modern Nissan of Lake Norman have requested to amend the zoning on approximately 3 acres adjacent to their dealership on Statesville Road. If approved, the group plans to build a 25,000 square foot Genesis auto sales and service dealership on the site that currently exists as a paved parking area. Cornelius Planning Director Rox Burhans told the board, quote, "This property is within our auto sales overlay district, so there is a good fit here from a future land use planning standpoint." Now, the applicants currently operate Genesis of Concord and would be relocating those operations to Cornelius, according to Modern Automotive Network Vice President of Operations David Fowler. Fowler said, quote, "With the support of Genesis, we feel like the Lake Norman Cornelius area is the right place to be. It matches the demographics, and while we've been really successful as Genesis of Concord, a lot of that success has been because of folks from this area and the surrounding communities." As is the case with the Modern Nissan dealership, the configuration of Statesville Road makes it so the entrance to the Genesis dealership would have to face the adjacent car lot rather than the street. In response to the concerns expressed by town staff regarding the building's appearance from the road, the applicant's architect updated some of the design elements to ensure a sleek look for passerbys. Deputy Town Manager Wayne Herron said, quote, "I will say, because I brought up the concern about the view to North Carolina 21 during the pre-development meeting, I think you've done a great job, especially on the service area with the glass elements. I was going to push it a step further on the garage doors, but it looks like you've got even more glass garage doors," end quote. No action was taken at the meeting, with the next step for the project being a presentation to the town's planning board. In other Cornelius town business, the town dives into crafting the fiscal year 2025 budget. Input is being sought from residents to gauge community spending priorities. A survey with 17 questions is available on the main page of the town's website and will remain up through the end of February. Residents will also have an opportunity to provide budget-related comments during time set aside at the board's Monday, February 5th meeting. The board will then hold a special all-day meeting at the Kane Center for the Arts on Thursday, February 8th to begin the budget planning process. The annual budget retreat, where town staff and officials do a deep dive into the details of the spending plan, will be held March 26th and 27th at the Grayland International Conference Center in Winston-Salem. In Mooresville, Wreaths Across America recently announced that its mobile education exhibit national tour will be heading to North Carolina to honor those who have served and welcome home Vietnam veterans. Said the WAA Executive Director Karen Worcester, quote, "The mission of Wreaths Across America is to remember the fallen, honor those who have served, and teach the next generation the value of freedom." The mobile education exhibit provides the unique opportunity for communities to come together and share the stories of those who served and sacrificed. Through our partnership with the United States of America Vietnam War Commemoration, the exhibit also serves as an official welcome home location for our nation's Vietnam veterans. The exhibit provides an opportunity to unite the local community, veterans, active duty military, and their families through interactive exhibits, short films, and shared stories. The exhibit serves as a mobile museum, educating visitors about the service and sacrifice of our nation's heroes. The tour will make its final step in North Carolina on Thursday, February 8th, with Richard's Coffee Shop in Mooresville serving as the host. The exhibit will be free and open to the public locally. It's at 165 North Main Street. The time is yet to be announced. When the exhibit pulls into the area, all veterans, active duty military, and families and the local community members are invited and encouraged to visit, take a tour, and speak with representatives and volunteers. Now, coming up tonight, right after the news drive at 5, as it always is, weekdays at 6 p.m. here on WSIC News Talk, we get the update on the sports world. They're heading into the weekend. Friday night, scoreboard's coming up at the top of the hour. Host Joe Berg is in the studio with me right now. My friend, how are you on this Friday afternoon?
I'm so happy it's Friday.
Big weekend of sports coming up, or are you just happy to put your feet up?
Well, we got conference championship games in the NFL coming up this weekend.
Yes, we do.
Also, racing at Daytona.
Yes, we do.
IMSA, Rolex 24.
One of my favorite races of the year, 24 Hours of Daytona.
It's Speed Week.
It's Speed Week.
It's here.
Underway.
It's time. I'm excited. I'm more excited for that than anything.
Have you ever been to the Rolex 24 at Daytona?
I have not been to Daytona.
Never been to Daytona. Okay.
I've been to a lot of tracks in the area.
Okay.
Bristol multiple times, Martinsville, obviously Charlotte, but never been to one of the super speedways.
Okay. Gosh, again, we're at the age difference here. I first went to Daytona before you were born. Actually, 10 years before you were born, and with the date we played with the Giants Super Bowl win. Yesterday. Short time after that, I was in Daytona for my first Speed Weeks, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good, but Rolex 24, one of my favorite races of the year. That takes the checkered flag Sunday afternoon, shortly before the first kickoff.
Yeah, I believe about 1:30 or so.
Yeah,
is when
the
it'll wrap
championship game for NFL playoffs. 3 o'clock and 6:30 kickoffs for the games, and I think right around 1:30, 1:40, we should checker the race. So I'll have could be a very good, tiring television type of weekend.
Depending what time you wake up on Sunday.
Yeah, I have literally never, ever made it awake the entire 24 hours. I've tried.
You've tried.
I've tried. I've fallen asleep for a few hours overnight, but yeah, that's good. That's good. So scoreboard tonight, we got a minute left before we're out of here with the news drive at 5. What do you got coming up for us?
Well, we got the conference championship games.
Yes.
We got the IMSA like we talked about. We also have high school basketball.
Right.
And on Monday, we'll have the Statesville high school basketball coach live on the scoreboard, along with one of their players. And then also this weekend, we're going to talk a little bit about Charlotte FC because they had their first preseason game earlier today.
When is pro soccer season?
The first game for Charlotte FC, Wednesday, February 7th.
February 7th. Okay. Thought that'd be a little warmer time, but that's okay. Warmer time. Okay. Cool deal. Scoreboard coming up at the top of the hour. News Drive at 5 with Patrick Reynolds Friday. Good to talk to everybody. We'll talk to you Monday at 5. See you, everybody.
The new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.